What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to start unboxing the new lift kit that I picked up for my 2022 Ram 2500 Cummins. And the lift kit that I'm going to go with on this build is the BDS 8-inch 4-link lift kit. So this video is going to be filmed over the course of about a week because I'm not going to be actually installing the lift kit here in my garage. I'm actually going to be taking the lift kit to a buddy of mine's garage, and I'm going to have him help me install it because on this particular lift kit, there is some welding that needs done and I don't know how to weld. So I'm going to have my buddy help put the lift kit on and get the welding done for me. So for privacy reasons, I'm not going to be able to film every step of how we put the lift kit on, but once we get it on, I will go back through the entire lift kit and show you what it looks like on the truck and how we actually got it installed. So the first thing I want to do today is actually start unboxing the lift kit just to confirm all of the parts are there. Now again, the main reason I am not installing this lift kit by myself in my garage is for a few different reasons. Number one, it requires some welding that I don't know how to do. Number two, I currently have a broken torsion bar on my garage door. I'll show you that. So this just happened the other day. So right now I can't even open the garage door to get my truck in here. And number three, I typically install the lift kits out in my driveway, but it's January in Western Pennsylvania and it's about 15 degrees outside and snowing. And we have a big snowstorm coming tomorrow that's supposed to dump about a foot of snow on us. So I can't do it outside either. Okay, we're outside. Again, it's about 15 degrees out. Very windy, very cold. Again, ice all over the driveway. And we're supposed to get another snowstorm tonight over tomorrow, which is going to dump about another foot of snow on us. But this right here is my 2022 Ram 2500 Cummins. I currently have a 2-inch leveling kit on the front, but we're going to be ripping that off and putting on the BDS 8-inch 4-link lift kit on this truck this week. And then once we're all done installing the lift kit, I'll have to go get an alignment done on the truck. And then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll start putting my bigger wheels and tires on, which I have in the garage, which I'll show you here in a minute. But I just wanted to show you right now what the truck looks like without the lift kit. And then I'll come back in a few days and show you what it looks like with the lift kit installed. This is basically what the truck looks like without the lift kit on stock wheels. So let's go inside and let's start unboxing the lift kit. Okay, so we're back in the garage. Let's go over here. These are the new wheels and tires I told you about. This is what the new wheels look like here. These are the Axe Off-Road. Those are 26 by 14s on AMP 38 by 15.5-inch tires. So I think that's gonna look pretty sweet on the truck. So that's what those are. Let's tuck those back in there for now. And then this right here is the new lift kit. Now this brown box on top is not part of the lift kit. That is actually a steering box stabilizer that I picked up that I'll be having installed as well. But I figure while I'm taking off some of the factory components, such as the fitment arm, I'll go ahead and get that installed at the same time. But let me start unboxing some of this stuff. I'm gonna lay it out on the table and then we're gonna take a closer look at it. So I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so we're back. We got a lot of this stuff ripped out of the boxes. Again, I always like to break everything down first just to make sure all of the parts are there, because the last thing I want to do is get started on a lift kit install and find out halfway through that I'm missing parts. So I always recommend when you get your lift kit, open up all the boxes, check all the paperwork to make sure all of the parts that you're supposed to have are actually there, which I've done here. So all this stuff on the floor over here came out of that box. These two bars here go to the rear track bar, your end links there, your rear track bar brackets. These right here will be the rear coil spacers there. Over in this box over here, this is gonna be the actual 4 links. So we have the bushings, we have 2 of the 4 links up here, and then there's some on the bottom. So you have your top and your bottom, and again, more bushings. So again, that's your 4 links. Come over here, and this box over here is going to be your indexing ring kit. So you have your bottom support bracket here. Here is your indexing ring right here. This right here is what's going to take your transfer case and reclock it so that it'll drop your front 4-wheel drive shaft a little lower. So the angles of your front drive shaft are closer to what they were stock. Here are the NX2 Nitro Series shocks, but these are very good shocks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, which I know a lot of people are gonna hate me saying, but I've had cheaper shocks on other trucks. I've also had Fox shocks on other trucks. I've had Bilstein shocks, and this will be my first time trying the NX2 Nitro Series shocks from BDS. I gotta be honest, I've honestly never really noticed a huge difference between any of the shocks. Keep in mind, I'm not off-roading my truck. It's a lifted truck as a daily driver. I'm not outside off-roading or rock crawling or anything like that. So if you are doing off-roading and rock crawling and some major off-road suspension travel activities, then yes, getting better shocks like Fox shocks and things like that might actually be better in those situations. But for a typical daily driver lifted truck, I've really never noticed a huge difference on these different levels of shocks, so I didn't feel the need to upgrade to Fox shocks on this build, because from what I've read, these NX2 Nitro shocks are supposed to be really good, and I'll probably be just as happy with them, because at the end of the day, let's just be honest, a lot of people are upgrading to the Fox shocks and the reservoirs for showing off. I get it. It's a show truck. You got to pay to play. You got to put some expensive parts on your truck to make it look good, win awards, and so forth. That's fine. But I typically am not putting my trucks in shows all the time. I just like driving a lifted truck as a daily driver. So I don't need to go with the most highest end parts on my truck. These NX2 Nitro Series shocks are perfectly fine for me. Now moving on over here, in this box over here, we have our new rear coils for the back of the truck here. We have a bunch of hardware over here, some bump stop extensions, some end link extensions here. We have our new drop pitman arm right here. We have our track bar relocation bracket here for the front. We have some extended brake lines here. These are going to be the drop brackets that you mount up under your truck where your original radius arms are to hook up your 4 links to. So that's what those brackets are. Then up here are going to be the big beefy 8-inch front coils. And these are big. Take a look at those. I mean, these are some big, thick, honking coil springs here, and they are very heavy. So those will be going in the front. And then over here is my steering box stabilizer. So again, I got the hardware here. This is basically what the stabilizer bracket looks like here. This hole right here, this is basically where your steering box comes through right here, which is where the drop pitman arm attaches to. And then these brackets at both sides mount to the actual frame of the truck. So once you actually get this mounted, this right here is going to keep your steering box stable, because when you have a lifted truck and you're running larger tires and you're turning your steering wheel, because of the additional weight and the offset of the geometry, a lot of times that'll put extra stress on your steering box, and your steering box might flex a little bit, which can make your steering wheel feel a little sloppy. But if you go ahead and put on a steering box stabilizer like this, that usually tightens that up pretty well. And since I'm already going to have everything ripped apart doing the lift kit, I'm just going to go ahead and install one of these steering box braces at the same time. But that's pretty much everything we're working with here. So now that I have confirmed that everything is here, I'm going to go ahead and box everything up and start loading it into the truck so that we could take it up my buddy's shop. So let me start working on that, and we'll be back in a few days with an update. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, so we are back. We are all done with the lift kit. I just got the truck back from the shop from getting an alignment done, and we'll go over it very soon. But as you can see here, the alignment turned out pretty good. And so far, my initial impressions driving it back home, it drives really nice. So there's no swing, there's no shifting around. It feels nice and sturdy, it feels good. The steering wheel is straight, everything's driving straight, and we're good. Now, I am driving currently on my stock wheels, so that could be a part of why it's driving maybe pretty good too. But once I put my big wheels on, we'll have to go back out and see how it drives with those on. So we're heading back home. We're gonna go ahead, jack up the truck, put the new wheels on, and see how it turned out. So stay tuned and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we are home and we are back in my garage. We did get the garage door fixed finally. We did finish up installing the BDS 8-inch lift kit on my 2022 Ram 2500. Everything's good. Everything went on perfect. All the brake lines were extended. Everything's good to go. We did go ahead and get an alignment done, so it's driving nice and straight. So as you can see here, all that really was bad was the front and rear camber, and the caster on the front was a little bit off as well. But we got all that fixed. Everything's nice and straight. And I gotta say, this BDS lift kit drives super smooth. I'm really happy with it. Now I still have the factory wheels on it because the alignment rack at my buddy's shop wouldn't fit my larger wheels. So yes, we did have to align the truck with the stock wheels on it. So when I put the new wheels on it, it might slightly be out of alignment, but it is what it is. So the new wheels, they're sitting over here, over in that corner there. So let me go ahead and start jacking up the truck. Let's get the new wheels on and let's see how this bad boy turns out. Okay, so we are finally done. That is what the new 8-inch BDS lift kit looks like on a 2022 Ram 2500 running 26 by 14 wheels on 38 by 15.5-inch tires. And as you can see, it has a really nice stance to it. Looks great. And this BDS lift kit is a Ford link up front so that your front axle has better articulation under different driving conditions. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, this lift kit does come with a new clocking ring to drop the transfer case down just slightly so that your front drive shaft for your four-wheel drive is at a better angle. And I did drive this in four-wheel drive. It does work. Everything seems to be looking pretty good. This is what the front looks like. Now, because these are 15.5-inch wide tires, I did have to trim a little bit of the front bumper and bottom valence off on an angle. And then I trimmed off this little piece right here. It stuck out like right here. So really, really small little piece of metal there. I did not cut the bolts off down here at the pinch weld. It was just this front little piece here that stuck out to about here. Cut that off, trim the front bumper on both sides, and now I have better clearance for the wheels. Let's go ahead and turn the wheel. Okay, the front wheel turned all the way to the right. As you can see there, plenty of clearance there. Let's turn it all the way to the left. And as you can see there, still have pretty good clearance there too. So if you are going to be running larger 38 by 15.5-inch tires on this BDS 8-inch lift kit, you might want to trim a little bit of the front bumper and that little pinch weld there. Other than that, everything looks really good. But that is what the truck looks like. Looks real good. Has a nice stance to it. Let's come around the other side. It's a little shaded over here because of the way the sun is angling. But as you can see there, it looks real good. There you go. So let's go ahead and try to pull this back in the garage real quick, and I'll go underneath the truck. I'll show you a few things, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so we are all done. We got the new wheels put on. Everything went good. Everything looks pretty awesome. So first things first, let's climb underneath the front and I'll show you some of those parts. Okay, so we're underneath the truck and let's see here. This right here is the steering box brace from Synergy. And again, it mounts over here to the frame on both sides underneath your sway bar bracket there. And it basically attaches to the bottom of your steering box after it goes through the drop pitman arm below the retaining nut. And the reason to install a steering box brace is when you're running a larger lift kit and larger, heavier wheels, this brace here stops your steering box from flexing, which really does help tighten up your steering overall. Moving on over here, this is the new track bar relocation bracket. Just a handful of bolts to bolt that on. Pretty simple and easy there. These are the new extended end links here for the front that helps get your front sway bar geometry back level with the frame. So that's what those look like, and those are greasable there as well. And I'll just mention, some lift kit manufacturers do things slightly different. When it comes to the sway bar here, some lift kits like BDS, they included the extended links right here to get your geometry leveled out with the frame. And some lift kit manufacturers just give you drop brackets to the front to drop the front of this down so that it's level with the shorter end links. Either way is fine. I actually like the longer end links here instead of the drop brackets here because I'd rather have my sway bar directly attached as close as it can to the frame, and that's what I got with BDS. Now, I did already add a couple months ago the dual steering stabilizer here from Rough Country. If you want to check that video out, I'll try to put a link in the description of this video. But that's a very simple install to do yourself. I did it myself, and it's very inexpensive. And that also helps tighten up your steering a little bit so that you don't get as much bump steer. These are your front bump stop extension brackets. Again, very simple and easy to install. Just on both the factory ones, bolt in your new extension bracket and bolt your bump stop to that bracket. You're good to go. So as far as the front goes, with the track bar drop bracket and the drop fitment arm, all of your steering components end up being in good geometry so that you have a good driving experience when running this BDS 8-inch lift kit. And then as far as the front, we did install the taller BDS coils here. And let me see if I can get around the other side. And we got our new extended brake lines in as well. So those have been extended. Now that we're sitting over here, this is going to be your new 4-link drop brackets here that mount to the frame, and that's what your 4 links attach to. Now the 4 links in the front attach to the factory locations, but this drop bracket here drops the position down so that your 4 links attach down lower. And then everything is greasable and has been greased up so that you have a nice smooth ride. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Up here, I don't know if I can really get my camera in there to show you, but up there, okay, that's where you have to drill the holes into the frame. Then you have to take the BDS bracket, slide it into the hole you drilled, and then weld it into position. That way your bolts have something to thread into. And that's primarily what I needed help with, but he ended up getting a lot of this done for me, which helped save me a lot of time and headache. But overall, that's what the drop brackets look like there. 4 links are all installed. Now, if we slide under here, this is our new cross member over here. So the factory one is still in the bed. So you do get a new cross member here that has a cutout that drops down lower over here because, let me see if I can get in there. Over there, right up here where my finger is, that's our new clocking ring. When you take off your bottom cross member here and unbolt your transfer case up here, this transfer case can actually drop down. Then you have to go up here and mount your new clocking ring. And then when you put your transfer case back onto the new clocking ring, it takes your transfer case and rotates it a little like that so that your drive shaft for your front 4-wheel drive ends up a little bit lower. That's why there's a, if you roll under here, that's why this cross member is cut lower, because what happens is when you reclock that transfer case, this front drive shaft here drops down a little bit lower, which is why you needed that opening there. So the new clocking ring has actually fixed the drive shaft angle here so that you can run your 4-wheel drive without any major vibrations or anything like that. So that's good. If we come under here to the back, these are your new brackets here for the bottom of your coils. And then you have your top puck over here that has the BDS logo, which holds your internal bump stop inside the coil. Then out here, you have your longer end links here. We have our new adjustable rear track bar bracket with our new track bar setup there. And the same thing over there as well. And all of these new track bars are greasable and they have been greased. And then once all that was done, we went ahead and got our new BDS NX2 shocks installed. So those are all installed on the front and back. So there you go. That's basically what the BDS 8-inch 4-link lift kit looks like on a 2022 Ram 2500 Cummins running 26 by 14 wheels on 38 by 15.5-inch wide tires. Looks awesome, it rides awesome, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, everybody, so we're finally done. So it did take a couple days to get this all done. Again, it's January 2025. In Western Pennsylvania, the weather has not been cooperative. It's been very cold, very snowy. My garage door broke. I just had a lot of things going on at the same time, and that's why I actually went with a little bit of help on this lift kit here to just make my life a little bit easier. But overall, it was well worth it. The BDS 8-inch 4-link lift kit turned out great. It drives great, it drives straight, and I'm really happy with it. So at the end of the day, after driving this truck a little bit with the BDS 8-inch lift kit, I'm thoroughly impressed. It's a great lift kit. It really gives the truck an awesome stance, but it drives really good. We really didn't have any issues at all on the install. The alignment worked out, it drives straight, and I'm really happy with how this truck is looking. So if any of you are out there shopping around for a quality 8-inch lift kit for your Ram 2500 truck, I definitely recommend checking out the BDS 4-link 8-inch lift kit because it's a high quality lift kit. Your truck will drive awesome, and it honestly does come in at a very reasonable price. But that's going to be it for today's video. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section and I'll get back to you when I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm gonna be doing a lot of customizations to this truck this year in 2025. So if you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's gonna be a lot more to come. But that's gonna be it. I just wanna say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you, I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.